I'm calling this meeting to order. This meeting is being live streamed. Please be aware of that. Heather Malek, please step forward to take the oath of office. Go ahead.
I, Heather Malott, have been appointed to the office of Councillor in the town of Espanola, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any impartial manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear the truth alliance to Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II. And I take this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Congratulations and welcome to council. All right, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? None. Public hearings, there are none. Delegations, there are none. Question period. Okay, the consent agenda.
Part one of the consent agenda, moved by Councillor Ray Dufour, second by Councillor Bob Yocum. Be it resolved that items E1 to F7 inclusive, contained in Part 1 consent agenda, be adopted.
In the A section, are there any questions or comments? In the B section, are there any questions or comments? In the D section, are there any questions or comments? In the E section, are there any questions or comments? Question or comment, Councillor Bill?
I guess we're going to approve the master plan. Do we want to create some direction to redirect that back to community services as part of this resolution, so that once we approve it, it'll go back to community service, or is that even needed?
We did discuss that at
Yeah.
the community services meeting.
Okay,
And it will come.
okay.
Okay, under the E section again, is there any questions or comments? Under the F section, are there any questions or comments? Be it resolved that bylaw number 281117 be adopted, please? No. Items A1 to F7 inclusive contained in Part 1 agenda be adopted. All in favor? Carried.
Moving into Part 2, the regular agenda, item G1, moved by Councillor Ron Duplessis, second by Councillor Ray Dufour. Be resolved that an exemption to bylaw 1189/96 noise control regulations be granted to the Espanola Ski Hill for the Rail Jam competition to be held on Saturday, November 18th, 2017 from noon until 8 p.m.
Questions or comments? Councillor Ron.
I really see no problem with this. We do all kinds of things throughout the community and pass firework bylaws. Also, if you're looking at the time, it's from noon till 8 p.m. Certainly early enough in the day not to even be a problem with the noise bylaw, I don't believe.
For sure. Anyone else?
But I'm just gonna,
Councillor Ray.
it's because they're moving the party indoors. So there might still be a little bit of noise, but I don't think it's gonna affect anyone.
The indoors is not an issue, it's the outdoor
Yes.
announcements during the day and the music
That's right.
could be an issue.
And they're quite far even from that first house down there.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? All in favor? Carried.
Item G2, moved by Councillor Bill Foster, seconded by Councillor Ken Duplessis. Be it resolved that council for the town of Espanola endorses the written submission to the DSAB Governance and Accountability Review.
Questions or comments? Councilor Bill?
I think it was well written, okay. Mind you, I'm not on the DSAP, so, but I think Cynthia picked up most of the critical areas, or all the critical areas that I was aware of anyway.
Anyone else? Councilor Buck?
Yeah, I have to agree with Bill. It's well-written. In particular, we're treated quite unfairly considering the size of the community we are and the amount of our contributions. The assessment is an issue. The land ambulance makes no sense. And I'm quite happy to support that this be sent in, and hopefully at some point in time we'll see some progress.
Councilor Ray?
It is still a work in progress, however.
Sure it is.
Anyone else? All in favor? Carried.
Item J3, moved by Councillor Bob Yocum, seconded by Councillor Bill Foster. It's a notice of motion. Be it resolved that the committee of the whole meeting to consider fire department issues scheduled for October 31st be reviewed and be considered as an item to be dealt with as a special meeting of council.
Questions or comments? Councilor Ron?
I think we have to withdraw this motion, your worship. It contravenes our procedural bylaw. Wasn't put in time.
Yes, it was actually.
No, it wasn't.
It was put in
6
last-
days and it wasn't. I believe it's 6 working
Yeah,
days,
you're right.
not counting weekends and holidays.
Yep, you're
So
right.
this wasn't put in
Okay.
time, has to be withdrawn.
Okay.
I thought it was in by noon on Wednesday, but I guess it was not.
It was. That's 5 days.
Yeah, it's only 5 days. He's right.
Let me just,
We can make a motion right now to consider it anyway, can't we?
you can consider motions
Yeah.
on the spot, and that's, council has to vote on.
Yep.
Yes.
So we may just do that. Well, let you check the bylaw
Yeah,
first.
I
think it is 6, actually.
I thought it was the Wednesday before, but just bear with me 1 moment.
I remember that was one of the things I wanted to change.
Sorry. I'm finding the bylaw here. Just one. Oh, you got it here? Okay, there's only one. Yep, you're correct. I
Yes.
apologize, I thought it was the week before.
It is 6 days, I remember that. Okay.
So this motion cannot move forward as it is.
Nope.
So there's 2 options. This can stand as a notice of motion served for the next council meeting. But it would be to change the committee of the whole that deals with fire services, not for the October 31st meeting, it wouldn't make that. However, council can vote to hear notice of motions that are served that evening. So it really is up to council how they want to deal with it.
Councilor Buck?
So then I'll consider that, I will make a notice of motion that council consider that tonight, providing that the majority of council agrees to it, and then we can move on from there.
So you've read the motion,
Yes.
so council would have to vote to hear this, and then we'll have a motion to vote on that.
First, we need a seconder.
Yeah, so we'll just, right now, the seconder is Bill Foster.
I'll continue to second it.
And Robert Gilpin? You're going to
Yep.
move it?
Yep.
The committee of the whole meeting to consider fire department issues scheduled for October 31st. Be reviewed and be considered as an item to be dealt with at a special meeting of council. And all in favor? 1, 2, 3.
So it's approved.
Okay.
You can stand for the next one.
It's good, so we can move on to the agenda.
Okay. All right, course, the motion has been made, so correspondence for information only. This information on the agenda was previously circulated to council, and if required, a copy of the information is available at the municipal office. Conference and conventions, there are none. Mayor and council reports and announcements, and keep in mind it's reports and announcements. Bill Foster, will you go first?
Yeah, just a little information for the community, okay? The solar field out there started up near the end of May. That was from Helios, okay? That was something that was approved on the previous council. The town's now receiving its share of the revenue from that, and all the other applications were turned down, and Helios is not planning to do any more. So, and the land that was maybe tied up in the industrial park is now available for industrial development.
Good. Councilor Ray.
So it was turned in?
Yeah, they put a number of applications in, and none of the applications met the criteria. Well, I shouldn't say that, because the government put a stop to all that because of all the
Okay.
flack.
Okay.
So they're not accepting.
So they're not accepting any, but there's not, it hasn't really been turned down, it's just an issue.
None of them were accepted.
No, they said they were denied, like their applications were not approved.
Okay, was it because how they wrote the application, or anybody knows?
Business.
No, I don't know.
Okay,
But it's a big part of it may very well be the fact that they stopped the purchasing all these projects because it's killing the power rates, and people are unhappy about the power rates.
because they're too low or because they're too high?
Because they're too.
Okay, there's our joke for the night.
Yeah.
No more.
All right, Councilor Ken.
Just one thing, we had a training session last Wednesday with municipal lawyer Paul Casson. It was set up for Heather, but there was a lot of good information in that on basic duties and responsibilities of both council and staff. And it was, I think, that's something we should have, or the next council should have regularly, instead of having all our training at the beginning, because you tend to forget. But it was very interesting. Thanks to staff for that.
And our new councilor, do you have anything?
I just want to say thank you for being so welcoming to me, everybody.
Right on.
The training session was very informative, lots of material. Paul has been a rock.
Ouch.
For sure. Thank you.
Can you spell it?
Councilor Ron.
Couple of things, Your Worship. I know yourself and I, Councillor Ken and Bill, we attended a session on global papermaking last Thursday at the first, I guess, kickoff to our weekend festival. Wasn't quite what we expected from working in industry. We make paper. It was a different type of paper with cloth. I was sad to hear that night at the beginning of it, the minister at that church announced that she'll be leaving in February, and she's certainly been a rock for a lot of that community that attends and has accepted many organizations in there to use the facility. Religious affiliations had nothing to do with it, and it would be sorry to see her leave, but I wish her well in her future. We attended the festival, I know many of us, and it was really interesting, and I think we have to thank Recreation probably a year ago when they started the wood carving, hoping to get the other half of this sector out there, the male half more so, and a lot of them have attended. I watched some gentlemen sit there for 2 hours just, actually I was quite amazed too. I went back and watched them at Home Hardware today. It's wonderful what they do in that wood carving, it's just fabulous. But we took in, and I know you did yourself, Your Worship, we went down to the Elks and the Knights and looked at those, although it's more interesting for the other people than ourselves. I had asked for three things, 2 meetings back. And after that session, which was very good, like Councillor Ken said, I should have asked for a timeline, when I could expect to hear something. Can somebody, it was about the signage, so we get people in the right lane leaving town.
Public Works is looking at
And
it.
I know you said you were dealing with foxes, I'd like to see what we're doing.
Well, I'll let you know when the signs are being erected, they've been
Okay.
ordered.
And the other one was, I forget now, beef changeling, fox. Oh, what happened with the paving out here? I know we had 2 or 3 different scenarios, they were stopping, then they went further. And then
Well,
they
the
stopped.
full report on that was in the community services agenda.
Yeah, there was a full report on that one.
I never got that.
Well, it's community services agenda, so
Well, I had asked.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Right, because
I'll
I asked
email
for
it.
it to come to council.
Well, it was just for information only, so it's okay. I'll send it to you.
Other than that, I'd like to welcome Heather aboard. It's nice to see you. That's it, Your Worship.
And I too would like to welcome Heather on board. It'll be nice to have you.
Councillor Bob.
Oh, thank you, Worship. And yeah, welcome, Heather. We really had a really good weekend. We were very fortunate with the weather for both the festival and the Pumpkin Fest. So the staff and volunteers did the usual good job. Just to update the biosolids issue a little bit, further to what was in the Public Works report. Since then, we've gotten a grant for over $100,000 to now develop a report offering options to the present expensive sewage sludge disposal method we're using. Hopefully something will come of that based on the signals coming from the provincial government that we won't be able to use the landfill. My semi-annual comment, of course, on the lack of pooping and scooping is going to be a little different this time. Seems how I can't actually have a rant. All the dog owners in town need to be congratulated. The streets are remarkably improved from even in the spring. I can have no reason to know why, other than it certainly wasn't my ranting, but it might have something to do with switching the bylaw control to animal control, and they've been enforcing it. So congratulations to everybody who's a dog owner. You all deserve a pat on the back. And the last thing was just a comment on the OPP service proposal, and I've had a lot of residents asking questions, which is good, but I've seen some other things on social media and that. And there is, as usual, as there always is in these cases, inaccurate information circulating in the community. So just a reminder that councillors can answer the questions, or they can also be posted on the town website for the answers to come from the OPP. And people, and this is a very passionate issue for a lot of people. They need to get the right information. They need to ask questions. Thank you.
All right, this meeting is,
You have a couple things at the end there, I think, Your Worship, on the back page, about times of next meeting.
over time of the next meeting, sorry. Committee of the whole meeting of October 31st, 2017 at 3 p.m. Corporate Services meeting of council meeting of November 7th, 2017 at 7:30 p.m.
And that one is wrong.
There's an error there. It should be 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Corporate Services at 3. And a special meeting of council of November 9th, 2017, the time is to be determined. And now, the meeting is adjourned. All in favor? Carried.
Are you guys against making a special council meeting
The closed meeting that was,
rather than a committee?
the closed meeting that was supposed to take place tonight is canceled.
Yeah, we know.